Do you know what we're here for?
Equal parts. Oh my gosh.
Illegal.
Ned Khan, she's very anti-business. Stuff like that, right? So, they're hoping to get at least some of these regulations done. Granted, of course, Project 2025 goes far more than any sort of donor, I think, could get out of a Democratic president. I'd like to think, at least. Although, I don't know. We've seen crazier things, I suppose. Where are these purple... What are these? Purple, September emotes. I see. Animated purple September emote mouths that move up and down on Twitch. That's pretty exciting. Alright, let's go here. Let's look at some of the polls and talk about some of the polls. First, let's watch some videos about people talking about the polls. Here's CNN from a day ago, Harry Enton, on how Harris's debate showing may affect Trump's chances.
Immediately, if not sooner.
You have 25 likes. Okay, hold on.
I think the saying goes, debates don't win elections necessarily, right? Both the Trump and Harris campaigns are spinning the debate as a win for their candidates. We wanted to know what debate watchers thought. CNN senior data reporter Harry Enton is here with a brand new suit, by the way.
Oh, yes.
He's also running the numbers. That's a new one. I know I'm right?
It's a tan. I haven't worn this in years. I don't know if it's brand new, but it's brand new for you, and I wanted to match you.
A tan suit, by the way.
Tan and a little bit of tan. There we go.
We're matching. All right. What did you find here as far as how this was received?
Yeah, I'm just going to use a scientific term, and that is that the vice president crushed Donald Trump. All right, so how did the vice president, how much did she crush him by? Look at this. First debate winner margins. Look at that. She won by a 26-point margin, nearly matching Trump's margin over Biden back in June when he won by 34 points. Very similar to Joe Biden's margin of over Donald Trump back in 2020 of 32 points, and significantly higher than the 2016 margin that Hillary Clinton had over Donald Trump in their first debate, just 13 points. But the bottom line here is debate watchers, and they actually leaned a little bit more Republican than the nation as a whole, believed that Kamala Harris easily won this debate. Again, the scientific term is she crushed former President Donald Trump.
All right. Will we see, though, a change in the polls?
He said that very quickly, but if you missed it, Harry just said that the debate was watched more by Republicans than it was watched by Democrats. That's an interesting tidbit that I guess I wouldn't have expected. I would have assumed it was sort of an even 50-50 split, but apparently Republicans' minds were made up less than Democrats? That's sort of contravenes anything I was expecting. Especially because, you see them at the Trump rallies. There seems to be like a pretty staunch support for Donald Trump from his supporters. In general, seems almost unhealthy, if you were to ask me. And yet, or maybe it was just out of support they were watching before. I don't know. Who's to say why anybody watches a debate?
Or a bump for Harris?
I think that the most likely scenario is that you will, in fact, see a rise in the polls. Why? Take a look at the last 4 times we had a first debate and look at those winners. Did they see a rise in the polls? Yes. Mitt Romney in 2012, Hillary Clinton 2016, Joe Biden 2020, and Donald Trump earlier this year. They all saw rises in the polls of 2 points or more. And given how close this race is nationally, given how close it is in the swing states, do not be surprised if Kamala Harris jumps out to a lead nationally, and don't be surprised if she jumps out to a slight, small lead in those key battleground states.
Yeah, I think we probably will be perhaps seeing that in the future. Hold on, I think there was more I wanted to see. Actually, no, that last piece not important. All right, let's go on here. Here's the Majority Report with Sam Cedar from 12 hours ago. Post-debate poll spells bad news for Trump.
One of the things that the Harris campaign has seen in terms of their polling is people, more often than not, almost every election is like this, they want change. And so the challenge for Harris is how to seem like the change candidate when she's obviously been in the administration for 4 years. Donald Trump has a similar challenge because we've seen him before, but people forget after 4 years.
That's why his favorables are up than when he left office.
Yeah.
Is this the first moment, her opening statement, this number 7?
Yeah.
Okay, so, or I should say, it's not even an opening statement. They didn't give them an opening statement. They start off with questions, and she clearly wanted an opening statement. But the point is, they ask, how are you better off now? Because it's the classic thing that you ask of an incumbent. She does not want to be seen as the incumbent.
Yep.
This was a challenge that she had throughout the debate, and frankly, nailed it every time. Like, it was always about looking forward, not looking back in terms of like the administration.
And at points, because Trump kept talking about Biden, and we'll get to that, I'm sure, but she said, "I am not Joe Biden," and then would pivot and define herself as being forward-looking. And she'd also sometimes go back and talk about Trump and COVID and some of the more chaotic things that he sowed. So that, like, the coaching on that front was extremely effective, and she delivered on and executed the game plan.
Yeah, apparently Tim Poolfan says the slogan from Veep when she ran for re-election as president was "continuity with change."
It's really,
and that is
it is seriously.
Let's check it out.
Thoughtful debate. So let's get started. I want to begin tonight with the issue that voters repeatedly say is
they're starting right at the beginning.
Their number one issue.
Whoopsies.
And that is the economy and the cost of living in this country. Vice President Harris, you and President Trump were elected 4 years ago, and your opponent on the stage here tonight often asks his supporters, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? When it comes to the economy, do you believe Trump were elected 4 years ago, and
you and Trump were elected 4 years ago? I love how he started it off with a complete gaffe. No, it was her and Biden. Trump lost 4 years ago.
Opponent on the stage here tonight often asks his supporters, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? When it comes to the economy, do you believe Americans are better off than they were 4 years ago?
So I was raised as a middle-class kid. And I am actually the only person on this stage who has a plan that is about lifting up the middle class and working people of America. I believe in the ambition, the aspirations, the dreams of the American people. And that is why I imagine and have actually a plan to build what I call an opportunity economy. Because here's the thing. We know that we have a shortage of homes and housing, and the cost of housing is too expensive for far too many people. We know that young families need support to raise their children, and I intend on extending a tax cut for those families of $6,000, which is the largest child tax credit that we have given in a long time, so that those young families can afford to buy a crib, buy a car seat, buy clothes for their children. My passion, one of them, is small businesses. My mother raised my sister and me, but there was a woman who helped raise us. We call her our second mother. She was a small business owner. I love our small businesses. My plan is to give a $50,000 tax deduction to start up small businesses, knowing they are part of the backbone of America's economy. My opponent, on the other hand, his plan is to do what he has done before, which is to provide a tax cut for billionaires and big corporations, which will result in $5 trillion to America's deficit.
Now, I'm just going to say one thing, because when I first heard it, I liked it. Then I thought a little bit about it, and a $50,000 tax cut means you're making a certain amount of money as a small business, and I feel like, it's going to wind up helping people that are doing better than people that are doing worse. And instead of giving people tax cuts, just give people starting small businesses $50,000. You know?
Opponent has a plan that I call the Trump's sales tax, which would be a 20% tax on everyday goods that you rely on to get through the month. Economists have said.
In fact, if we're going to do that, you know, we might as well just give anybody under a certain income percentile $50,000 and say, hey, go start a small business or pay for your mortgage or something. Get a house, let alone, you know, not that you can buy a house for $50,000, but you can certainly put a down payment on a house for $50,000 if you have the credit.
That Trump sales tax would actually result for middle-class families in about $4,000 more a year because of his policies and his ideas about what should be the backs of middle-class people paying for tax cuts for billionaires.
President Trump, I'll give you 2 minutes.
All right. And now, so she doesn't answer the question.
No.
No, I think she could have, frankly.
But you get what I'm saying, right? You get what I'm saying over there, right? Because, like, you know, to be paying $50,000 in taxes as a small business, you have to be making quite a fair amount of money. You have to be doing a pretty good amount of business, and a lot of small businesses just fail before ever paying $50,000 in taxes. Just saying, just, you know.
Because she could have started off by saying 4 years.
And a lot of people with good ideas don't start businesses because they don't have the capital to even consider trying it. They have to do what they can to survive, right? I don't know.
Ago, we came in and unemployment was at record levels.
Yep.
And our supply chain was completely screwed up, and it would create inflation. And we were threatened with poverty and whatnot. And we came in, we started to do X, Y, and Z. Inflation is down. Those numbers there was probably access to them last night. I don't know if that's possible, maybe not, but certainly inflation is going down. The census information that was released today, wages, incomes are up. And she can say we cut poverty, and unfortunately, because of the Republican Party, we weren't able to maintain that. But we're headed in the right direction, and then she could have gone forward there. But she was like scrupulous from the beginning. Don't look back on and don't associate herself on some levels with the Biden administration.
Well, you could see that was.
And that's part of the dance that Kamala's been trying to do, that I've been kind of talking about since the very beginning of sort of what are we calling it now? The Biden coup. After the coup, she's been having to sort of do a dance and stick to the Biden administration talking points while also making herself somehow distinct from them. It is complicated. It's certainly not a minefield I would personally like to be navigating. They need to eliminate the resources limit for people on SSI so you can start saving money. That does seem reasonable.
Her most shaky moment, honestly, because her voice quivered a little, right? I mean,
so I think she was nervous.
I would be. I don't know about you. I'd be pretty damn nervous. Like I will get the rating soon, but I would imagine this is one of the most watched debates in history. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't love the phrasing about the focusing on the middle class stuff, but you know, it polls well in terms of people want to perceive themselves as middle class, even if they aren't. Yep. It's not the phrasing that I would use.
Opportunity economy is one of the most noxious things I could imagine.
And she didn't emphasize the stuff that is in her platform that's more progressive that we like the price gouging stuff. I was waiting for her to zero in on that, but as we said repeatedly last night, this is not for us. This is to assure people who are squishy about a woman, who are squishy about her being perceived as too liberal. This is about getting those people to vote for her. They're going for the moderate Republicans even. But I do think that there are people like that who would be willing to vote for Harris. And so it's not my favorite in terms of the expectation or for progressive policy in terms of how it was emphasized. But you see what the strategy is here, and I can respect that in and of itself.
Just from CNN, just a couple of statistics. Debate watchers said 63 to 37% that Harris turned in a better performance. Now, understand these group of watchers started off 50% saying Harris would do better, 50% saying that Trump would do better. So they had the exact same expectations, but clearly the people who thought Trump would do better changed their mind. Here's the other,
which is even more devastating for Trump when you add in that little statistic we picked from that CNN video before, that more Republicans watched the debate than Democrats, right? Which means that more Republicans were turned off to Donald Trump than Democrats were. I mean, what do you call it? Lifted up by it. And I mean, the fact is, if you can just depress the Donald Trump vote in a few key places, it'll change the whole state of this race.
among voters who watched the debate and identify as political independents, Harris' favorability rose to 48% after the debate, up from just 30% before.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now,
that is wild.
Like I say, I get nauseous when I hear the opportunity economy, because that is sort of that's Obama talk.
It is Obama talk. It's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And I am excited that Harris won the debate, both I think in style and substance, and in terms of what the media said, and that it's going to help her get reelected. But we can do two things at the same time and be aware that there are going to be big, big challenges. We'll talk more about that later, but big challenges as progressives, I think would.
Yeah, and I think Sam is right about that. Especially with the amount of money that has flown into her campaign. We're going to have to really, really fight to beat out that, what just seemed like a goddamn torrent of fucking capital went flowing into her campaign after Joe Biden backed out. I think she's nearly gotten I don't have the numbers in front of me now, but I think it's approaching $750 million since in the last month and a half. All right, let's quickly look at this. Here are the latest polls. This is from 538. As you can see, Harris has gone up ever so fractionally, by 0.2. And this is just the aggregate national polls. Let's quickly look at the state votes. Arizona. Trump is still up but he's lost 0.2 since the debate, it looks like. Might as well look at Georgia while we're here. Looks like that's still flat. Now, a lot of polling probably has not happened or been made available since the debate. That would be my guess. Although people are trying to get those after debate polls in there as quickly as possible. You think that's about right? Wait, it was about right. I assume you're talking about something I'm talking about right now, but I just don't know exactly what you mean. Michigan. It looks like Harris lost 0.1 of a point in Michigan since the debate. In Michigan, why do I keep clicking there? Stop that. All right, let's go here to Nevada. Harris has essentially stayed in the same place since or actually lost a 0.1. It's getting even tighter somehow. Looks like, at least for now. Let's go here, North Carolina. Still the same. Still the same. Still point. Actually, no. Up 0.1 for Harris. Is that up 0.1? Wait. Oh no, that was going back. No, it's the same. North Carolina. You know, Pennsylvania. Now, let's see here. Pennsylvania. She appears to still be in same spot as before. Probably once again, because not a lot of polls have come out since the debate. I would guess by next week we see some more big polls come out. Who else are we missing? Wisconsin, right? Yeah. Ooh. She appears to be up 0.2. Okay, interesting. All right, so she's ticked up in Wisconsin, and I don't know. It's kind of a mixed bag over the board. I wouldn't draw too many conclusions from any of this right now, but still a tight race, clearly. All right, let's move along. Just wanted to hit those up. Try to hit them up, like, honestly, I've been hitting them up like multiple times a week now, it feels like. My estimate of Kamala's campaign funds. Oh, on $750 million being the number that she's near. That's a wild and ridiculous number. Right, where are we on all this? Did that. Oh, okay. Well, we don't need polls, at least in terms of the debate, because Donald Trump can tell us exactly how the debate went. Here's Channel 4 News from a day ago. And that's what you do, right? Like when you won, you go and immediately tell everybody.
When you have to show up, host debate, and spin for yourself, you know things probably didn't go quite to plan. President Trump, did you win the debate tonight?
Well, the polls say 92% to 70.
92%.
Did great.
Did you feel you won?
I felt I won by a lot.
Did she get...
Wait, you went from 92% to, I think I did great. That was a really weird change in attitude. It's like, if it's 92%, you don't have to think it. You would clearly know that you did great. Which one is it?
You rattled?
No, not at all.
You seemed a bit rattled.
Everything's fine.
He claims he wasn't, yet it was clear the vice president's plan was to do just that from the moment she boldly strode right over to him last night.
Kamala Harris, let's have a good debate.
You see, have fun.
Thank you.
Let's have a good debate, she said, eyeing the man she'd never before stood face to face with until now, and he got off to a good start.
Everything that she believed 3 years ago and 4 years ago is out the window. She's going to my philosophy now. In fact, I was going to send her a Maga hat.
She seemed nervous at first, but got into her stride during a fierce exchange on the issue that could decide November's election.
But her vice presidential pick says abortion in the 9th month is absolutely fine. He also says execution after birth. It's execution, no longer abortion, because the baby is born, is okay. Illegal. And that's not okay.
That's not okay. Even though I just made it up, it's not okay. It's not okay that the existence of the made up thing, not okay. Everybody write that down. Okay, so yeah, Donald Trump claiming that he won the debate, and that some mystery poll said that he won it by 92%. And I'm interested to know who did that poll. Let's just move this along to Forbes breaking news. Oh boy, Forbes, it's gonna be good. Just in. Donald Trump asked point blank, "What did you say to Kamala Harris this morning?" Ooh, What did you say to Kamala Harris this morning? Let's find out. Execution. Execution, Kamala.
Just very polite. Very polite. It was a great. We had a great debate.
It's the very best debate.
On the debate, and we enjoyed it. I hope she enjoyed it too, but I enjoyed it. And no, we're looking at it, but you know, when you win, you don't really necessarily have to do it a second time. So we'll see. But we had I thought we had a great debate last night.
Wow. And look, I'm not the one. I didn't like make that up. This is true. This is their title here. Just in. I can't. Why can't I highlight it? Let me. God damn you! Stop that. See it? You can't see it. But the way that it is all caps, just in. Trump asked point blank, quote unquote, "What did you say to Kamala Harris this morning?" And then it says, "Very good. It's a very good day. Very good debate. Thank you, Kamala. It's great talking to you." It's like, oh, okay. Thanks. Thanks, Forbes. Thanks for that. You got junk mail from Forbes trying to sell you legal and identity insurance for $50 a month. Wow. That's a lot of money. Does it prevent your identity from being stolen after the fact? Because didn't everybody's social security number get stolen like last month? We did a story on this. We're all fucked. All right, let's go here. Let's talk about something that's been met at all. Oh God. All right, now you know what? Let's go to what I was saying we were gonna do, and then maybe we'll go back to this. That seems reasonable to me. That's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do. That makes more sense. Where do we go? Here? Yeah, that's perfect. Okay. All right, let's go here. Channel 4 News. Talk about ducks and cats. Apparently puppies. I don't know. It's all very confusing.
If this was the 80s before AI and the internet, today's headlines would read, "Haitians ate my hamster." Or perhaps, "Migrants Maga meal deal."
In Springfield, they're eating the pets of the people that live there.
One of the takeaways from last night's debate, Trump reiterating the claim that Haitian immigrants in the town of Springfield, Ohio, were eating people's pets.
There have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
Well, I've seen people on television.
Needs more dog.
It was the type of talking point memes were made for. The Simpsons' fictional hometown, Springfield, featured heavily.
They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs.
Before we look at the claim itself, let's look at the real.
It's actually good.
Tonight, Springfield, Ohio finds itself at the center of a raging immigration debate.
The real town has a population of around 60,000. In recent years, though, over 15,000 Haitian immigrants have arrived. Many have found work there. Alongside that, though, there have also been problems associated with so many new arrivals. But are they eating people's pets? According to the town's mayor and the local police, no.
We have not been able to verify any credible reports or specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
Finding the source of a rumor is next to impossible. This incident, though, was cited on social media as evidence. It is not.
Why'd you kill the cat?
The woman arrested here for killing an eaten cat is not Haitian, for one thing, and this took place in a different town in Ohio in August. There have been reports of people walking around the town holding dead ducks. mentioned here at a town hall meeting in August.
They're in the park grabbing up ducks by their neck and cutting their head off and walking off with them and eating them like.
The police again.
No. People eating ducks? Duck? Sacre bleu. I have never heard of such a thing. Except for duck l'orange. Duck confit, of course. Duck tartare. In fact, now that I'm thinking about it, lots of duck. We'd have a roast duck, or perhaps. Excuse me, I'm sorry about this. If there are any duck viewers, you may want to turn away soon.
Say no credible reports for any of this. It's hearsay for now, in other words. Nonetheless, Trump's running mate J.D. Vance, Ohio's senator, has amplified these unproven claims. And last night, doubled down.
City officials have not said it's not true. They've said they don't have all the evidence.
They said they have no evidence.
These stories present a predicament for journalists because I can't definitively say that no Haitian migrant has ever eaten a dog in Springfield, Ohio, even though the authorities say there's nothing in the story.
Okay. Okay, let's go to the next one. Where are we at? Let's go to this. France 24 English from 14 hours ago. Trump's fake claim of Haitians eating pets. Oh, whoops. How did this get here? What is this?
Go, 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 go.
Oh, weird. That appeared to be a bunch of Americans shooting ducks to eat.
Now, to one of the viral moments of the U.S. presidential debate when Donald Trump falsely claimed that immigrants in Ohio are eating cats and dogs. The blatant lie was debunked by moderators in real time, but Donald Trump continues to stand by it. Solange Mougin is here joining me on set with more. Solange, great to see you. Firstly, this false claim of immigrants eating their pets in America was actually going viral prior to the debate.
Yeah, it's a conspiracy theory that the Trump team and his supporters have been pushing, and were even pushing before the debate, because it puts one of their stumping issues, immigration, front and center. And the issue of immigration is exactly what they believe could help Trump win votes and voters. The problem, though, is that the claims that they're making about eaten animals by immigrants, it's incredibly bigoted and it is false. But they keep coming and coming and coming. And if we look at the tweets by Republicans prior to the debate, you have J.D. Vance, who's writing on X, don't let the crybabies in the media dissuade you fellow patriots. Keep the cat memes flowing.
Oh, there he is. Head cow trucker J.D. Vance. Essentially the, what do you call it, the progenitor of all of this, even though it's an old trope and a racist one at that, of Haitians supposedly eating animals that are uncivilized. Alright. Let's go here. This is CNN. Oh, wait, that's not CNN. This is the golden rule of duck hunting?
You farted?
It sounded loose.
Oh, no. Was it you?
That's like taboo. You never fart inside the duck
Oh.
line when it can't escape.
This is right-wing maniac channel Barstool Sports, who I'm pretty sure... Wait, let me double check. Hold on. Forgot to do this before. But I could have sworn. Oh, it doesn't look like they've done a piece on this one, this particular Haitian thing yet. But they did do a piece on March 29th of 2024 talking about Haiti was the most dangerous place ruled by de facto leaders. They didn't mention it all in here. It doesn't look like they pointed out that they were appointed by essentially the United States. But yeah, these are the same sort of guys who love these Haitian memes about cats and ducks.
No,
It's
Steve
weird.
was talking about how he wants to see Santa Claus in a red thong.
Okay, listen. Somebody farted and nobody's acknowledging it.
It's probably you, Sid. All the wind's blowing this way and curling up around Sydney.
They're just having fun. They're just doing American stuff. They're shooting ducks. And then I assume eating them. Cutting their heads off, just like they're accusing Haitian migrants of doing. And it's weird. It's weird how if one person does it, it's fine and it's normal and it's American and it's freedom.
Rid of the Second Amendment.
And then if somebody else does it, who might happen to be a different color, suddenly things get a little bit more confusing. I can't tell if it's good or bad. All right, let's actually go to CNN, where they visited one of the towns where Trump falsely claimed migrants are eating pets.
In the wake of the talking point last night about Springfield, Ohio, which we should say right off the bat is not supported by any evidence that we or really anyone has been able to find.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
He's talking about black people, Haitian migrants. And yes, that actually happened last night in a presidential debate. The former president amplifying a claim going around in right-wing media. He's also been citing the death of an 11-year-old Springfield boy last year when a Haitian driver, now in prison, hit the school bus he was riding in. Here's what the father, Nathan, said last night at a public meeting.
They have spoken my son's name and used his death for political gain.
Illegal.
This needs to stop now. They can vomit all the hate they want about illegal immigrants, the border crisis, and even untrue claims about fluffy pets being ravaged and eaten by community members. However, they are not allowed, nor have they ever been allowed to mention Aiden Clark from Springfield, Ohio.
Well, tonight, Aiden Clark's dad built on his remarks, saying in a statement, the attention brought to our case in the last few weeks is 100% politically motivated. We've been grieving for over a year now, so why are you suddenly concerned? Politics. More on the politics of that and the related theories, conspiracy theories about house pets from CNN's Omar Jimenez.
When you hear allegations of Haitians eating dogs and cats and taking them off the street and stealing them from people's yards, what is your reaction when you hear that?
It was shocking to me, honestly, because the first question I asked myself, where in the world do people are eating pets?
Viles Dorsonville is the head of the Haitian Community Help and Support Center in Springfield, Ohio. He came to the United States about 4 years ago from Haiti, and he hasn't just questioned the nature of the recent rumors, he's questioned what they will do to his community.
It's just like xenophobia, it's just like bigotry, discrimination, and racist. And they do not normally take time to see the impact that can have on the mental health of the immigrants fleeing the country from all kind of chaos.
To be clear, former President Donald Trump's claims are not supported by evidence. In a statement to CNN, a spokesperson for the city of Springfield said there have been no credible reports or specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community. But all of this has also come as part of a very real surge in Haitian population in Springfield.
We have realistically been saying 12 to 15,000 immigrants is what we have counted through the health department and other agencies.
And they are here legally under the immigration parole program. Once here, immigrants are then eligible to apply for temporary protected status. Haitian temporary protected status was recently extended and redesignated for Haiti, mainly due to violent anarchy in the country. But the total population of Springfield is around 50.
Yeah, because once again, people in Haiti were sick of the United States having made their government completely undemocratic, where they had thousands of elected officials 20 years ago and now have exactly 0. And they got fucking sick of it. And so some people left, some people rioted, rose up, and some people have unfortunately just been stuck there, subjected to the chaos. But you know, I think if anything, it says more about the sort of effects of of American foreign policy. All right, hold on, sorry. Thinking and trying to do multiple. We just need one more like to unlock our next emotional support character. Oh wow, it's true. On YouTube, if we had one more like, we would have enough. Oh wow, people are getting serious about the Pokemon game on Twitch. It would seem people have figured out how to play the game. I see the use of number of commands I haven't seen used before, so I think somebody found a command list somewhere. Now, let's go to Colorado really quickly to talk the other racist anti-immigrant rumor that Donald Trump had brought up. This one about Venezuelans at the parent apartment complex.
You see what's happening. You see what's happening with towns throughout the United States. You look
Whoa.
at Aurora in Colorado. They are taking over the towns. They're taking over buildings. They're going in violently.
City of Aurora once again back in the national spotlight after former President Trump made those comments about Venezuelan gang activity during last night's presidential debate.
Google Trends now showing search interest in Aurora reaching a 12-year high. Thanks for joining us on Denver 7 News at 6. I'm Jessica Porter.
I'm Shannon Ogden. Glad you are with us. Denver 7's Christian Lopez digging into just what was said last night. She also has reaction from local leaders.
All eyes continue to be on Aurora, especially after Tuesday's presidential debate.
Can you imagine being a immigrant living in Colorado, let alone Aurora right now, with this kind of stuff going on and people talking about immigrants in Colorado in this way? Or not an immigrant, just somebody who maybe looks like an immigrant. Could be an immigrant, I don't know. Looks kind of sketchy. That sort of thing, right? I mean, that's what happens when this sort of rhetoric is just tossed around in this way politically by people with incredible power, like Donald Trump, who's running for fucking president and just saying, spouting off all these sorts of just nonsense, anti-immigrant, racist conspiracy theories. It causes real world harm to somebody somewhere.
We are hearing from Mayor Mike Kaufman, who says the remarks made by former President Donald Trump about the city of Aurora are simply not true.
The overreaction in all this has created an hysteria in terms of you know, what is true, what is not true. And so I think it's important to set the record straight.
That's exactly what Mayor Mike Kaufman and other Aurora leaders say they're trying to do after the nationally televised presidential debate between former President Trump and Vice President Harris.
I don't want to talk. It's not going to be Aurora or Springfield.
Former President Donald Trump said that Aurora was taken over by migrants and violently taking over buildings.
Immediately,
Is that accurate?
if not sooner.
No, it's really not. You know, there's no question that there's been some issues in several apartment buildings, but it's been so dramatically exaggerated that it's the entire city that is somehow overrun by gang or criminal activity, and that couldn't be.
I believe what he's referring to is the complaints of a supposed, like, what do you call it? Like absentee landlord with numerous complaints from his own tenants. And it sounds like it is a completely fictional situation.
Further from the truth.
He also mentioned that a lot of the migrants coming into the United States are criminals and that crime is at an all-time high. Do you believe that crime is at an all-time high in Aurora right now?
You know, I really don't. Again, I think that there are some issues with several apartment buildings, and even those issues have been exaggerated.
Mayor Kaufman says he wasn't
Exactly. Okay. And even those have been exaggerated. All right. Now, let's go to this. Big news. Big news. Taylor Swift has endorsed Kamala Harris. Let's hear Trump's response after hearing about Taylor Swift's endorsement of Kamala Harris. Here's CNN.
I knew the places they were talking about.
Wait.
I know the neighborhoods that they're talking about. I know what goes on in Snyder Park. I know that there's ducks and geese all year long.
Deal with that later. Actually, wait. Nah, fuck it.
Moments after the big debate, Taylor Swift announcing she is voting for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. She also used her endorsement on Instagram to take a jab at Republican vice presidential nominee J.D. Vance, signing the post "Childless Cat Lady." Joining us now, CNN's Elizabeth Wagmeister. She has jumped into the political fray with no abandon here.
She has, and you know, this isn't the first time that Taylor Swift has entered the political fray. Back in 2020, she did endorse Biden and Harris, so this isn't a huge surprise. But the surprise, Sarah, is that Taylor made an endorsement at all. It seems that for months there has been endless speculation on whether Taylor, who of course is one of the biggest stars on the planet, would make this endorsement, and this is the biggest endorsement from a celebrity yet for the vice president. Now, earlier this morning on Fox News, Trump was asked about Taylor's endorsement. Let's take a look at what he had to say.
I actually like Mrs. Mahomes much better, if you want to know the truth. She's a big Trump fan.
I like Mrs. Mahomes.
It was just a question of time. She couldn't. You couldn't possibly endorse Biden. You look at Biden.
I only like people who like me. And if that Taylor not gonna endorse me this time, that's it. Switching to Mrs. Mahomes. That's it. No more Swiftie for me.
Possibly endorse him, but she's a very liberal person. She seems to always endorse a Democrat, and she'll probably.
I'm pretty sure that's the mother of Patrick Mahomes, I would assume, or it could. Yeah, Donald James makes a good point. It could be Patrick Mahomes' wife. It's not clear. He doesn't make it clear, and it's a little vague. Either of it doesn't really matter. I don't think it matters to him. Either of the Mahomeses, as long as they are on the Trump train.
In the marketplace.
Now, when he says,
okay, all right. Actually, wait, hold on. I'll let her talk for like 30 seconds.
Brittany, he is referring to Brittany Mahomes, who is the wife of the football star Patrick Mahomes.
There we go.
She allegedly liked a post of Trump, so there's been a lot of chatter.
Ooh, she liked a Donald Trump
that.
post.
You see right there that Taylor and Brittany, who are good friends, they are hugging. They were at the U.S. Open having fun this past weekend. People made a big deal of that, but just like Taylor and Brittany, who are
liking a post and a political endorsement are the exact same thing.
Very famous in the real world. Of course, Sarah, people have friends from all different walks of the political aisle.
I'm not sure she gives a rat's tail about.
Okay. So yeah, Donald Trump clearly, as expected, taking it really good, very maturely, and very presidentially, accepting the fact that Taylor Swift. Wait, no, sorry, I take it back. Nope, he acted like a little baby man. He's very sad. He's not cool anymore. Was I ever cool? Was I ever cool? I don't even know anymore. I think sometimes maybe I wasn't that cool. People, they got really psyched, and I was like, hey, that's pretty great. I'm getting a lot of money for these donations. I wonder if I can spend it on a private jet. No, I can't do it. I have to be president? Okay, then. Okay, that's fine. Alright, now let's go back to Harry fucking Enton over at CNN, who apparently has some important news relating to all of this Taylor Swift stuff happening. Because, I guess they got some numbers for all this. I don't know what does it mean.
Taylor Swift using her moment on stage at the VMAs to call on voters to register, young voters especially, to register to vote. The night before that, she had announced her support for Kamala Harris. And one voter registration group has pointed to a huge spike in traffic and telling CNN the Swift effect is undeniable. Let's look at all of this. Harry Enton is here. So, undeniable.
Great
You
word.
get to be the judge on that. This all gets to young voters.
Yeah.
How much does she need help? How can?
Yeah, I mean, why does Kamala Harris welcome Taylor Swift's support? Why does she need the help? Well, let's just point out something that I have been noting all along during this campaign, and that is the underperformance that both Joe Biden and now even Kamala Harris has among young voters. All right, so this is the Democrat versus Trump margin among voters age 18 to 29 or under the age of 30. You go back 4 years ago at this point. Look, Joe Biden had a 28-point advantage. A 28-point advantage over Donald Trump. Now, you look when Joe Biden dropped out of the race, he was up by just 7 points. Now, Kamala Harris has improved on Joe Biden's standing, but look at this. She's only up by 15 points. That is significantly less than Joe Biden was up at this point among the youngest voters in our electorate. It's only about half the margin that Joe Biden was pulling in. So Kamala Harris will absolutely welcome in the support of Taylor Swift if she can move young voters at all, because the bottom line is Kamala Harris is, in fact, not doing as well among young voters as you might expect a Democrat to necessarily be doing based upon history.
And what we heard from Taylor Swift last night was a call to register to vote, get involved. Why? How much of voter registration and why is that key? How important is that?
Yeah, I mean, look, let's go to the key battleground states of Pennsylvania and North Carolina, all right? And what we're going to do here is look at the Democratic advantage over Republicans in voter registration. This is party registration, registering as a Democrat, a Republican, or unaffiliated. Look, if you go back to September of 2020, look, among active voters in the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, you saw Democrats with, look at that, a 559,000 voter edge over Republicans. You jump now, look, Democrats still have an edge, but look how much that's dropped. It's now just 169.
I feel like in the moment, Harry is realizing that this is from the full year, the full month, September of 2020. And this is only from what I would assume is the first week or so of 2020. I don't know exactly what day. It doesn't say on this thing what day, but it's only the 13th right now. You gotta assume this was from yesterday, I think. No, like, all right, no, it's, well, yeah, this was from yesterday, but I don't know exactly when this came out. So it could still catch up. You know, 170 times what? 3? Gets you close.
We're talking about the Republicans closing the gap by nearly 400,000 voters in just a 4-year time span. You go to North Carolina, it's the same exact trend, right? You go back to September of 2020, you see Democrats with a 415,000 voter edge, and now they still hold an edge, but it's just 128,000. And of course, both of these states were determined by less than 100,000 voters back in 2020. So the bottom
Yeesh. It's not good though. I don't like the numbers on this particular thing, and it makes me have weird daydreams about like turning points and other shit like that, and wonder whether or not they've been more effective than I've given them credit for over the years, and perhaps there was some sort of a lag to that. I don't know, but I think it's also partly because I think younger people have been disengaged. Younger people are also the most likely to be using apps like TikTok, which is a place where a lot of pro-Palestinian content happens to exist. And I think a lot of, ardently pro-Palestinian people, and I'm just, thinking to myself, I'm a young kid, heavily pro-Palestinian, I've never voted before, or maybe I have, but it's only one time, I don't know, right? Maybe my political understanding and opinions are still forming, and I can understand why in that particular case and in a number of other cases why you might be apt to still be disengaged. Who's to say though? Who's to say? I think you have to compare this to how many are already registered as there were in 2020. The reporter's trying to downplay the swift uptick. I think you're right. The swift uptick will be real. I mean, she does have a huge number of supporters. I don't know exactly how many American supporters she has, but she's got tons just worldwide. But you gotta figure it will have some effect. Let's see. Let's go. I'm gonna save this for tomorrow, just because of how fucking long this has gone. How are we 2 hours in? This is wild. Oh, we've actually made really good headway. I just have 90 videos to get through today, so we're gonna have to skip one or two. Let's go here. CBS News from a day ago. Apparently, Mike Johnson's funding bill has collapsed in Congress. Oh no, I'm so shocked that Republicans still don't want to do anything. They don't want to fund the government. This is all very shocking to me. You see how shocked I am?
Our monitors take us to a live look at Capitol Hill, where today the critical House spending vote just collapsed. Speaker Mike Johnson spoke shortly after, saying his team is going to work through the weekend to try to revive that bill by Monday. Here's what he had to say.
No vote today because we're in the consensus building business here in Congress with small majorities. That's what you do. That's what I've been doing since I became Speaker. We're having thoughtful conversations, family conversations within the Republican conference.
Having family conversations. We're sitting down at the table. I'm setting the turkey. Mom's baking the bread. And we're having dinner. And we're going to eat the food. Okay, so everybody can stop asking me questions now. Thank you. I've clearly answered all your questions, and my name is Mike Johnson.
So, people have concerns about all sorts of things. That's how the process works, and sometimes it takes a little more time.
CBS News congressional correspondent Scott McFarlane is in the Russell Rotunda right now with all the details. What happened here that caused it to fall apart?
Imagine you sat down and somebody put a college calculus exam in front of you and said, go ahead and do it. That would be difficult. This is the math problem the House Speaker is dealing with right now, Reed. He has lost more.
Oh yeah, is that the problem? He doesn't have... There isn't, literally, an ocean of staffers here to help him understand that. Come on. Get out of here, Scott McFarlane, if that is even your real name.
More votes than he can afford to lose on a bill that has to pass. That's a problem. We are 19 days away from the government shutdown deadline. The U.S. House Republicans were keen on this bill that they'd have to pass with almost only Republican votes. They have a narrow majority, and they've lost some of their own.
It doesn't have to only pass with Republican votes. It's just the way that things are in Congress right now because of the partisanship and the sort of unwillingness to work with one another, especially in an election year where a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people in Congress are up for election. They don't want to be seen as working with the evil other side, and with the tiny Republican majority, which Mike Johnson just alluded to, it's very hard to get these things done. It puts basically the funding of our government in peril. Because I think he's going to need every single Republican vote to get it done. People like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who of course loves funding the government. That's one of her favorite things to do. People like Lauren Boebert, who also just loves funding the government. Top 3 things on her list every day is making sure the government gets funded. Who else? Who else is in Congress that just, loves funding? You know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying here? I mean, we could basically just go down the entire Republican fucking ticket, right? I mean, come on. The entire Republican side of Congress. But, I mean, I'm just starting with, of course, the fringiest of people. But, you don't need to put together too big of a Republican coalition to break up this tiny majority and to suddenly have an unfunded American government.
Do you know what we're here for? Equal parts. Oh my gosh.
Illegal.